What if the most powerful indicator of your future wealth is not your current salary, but your ability to sit quietly with discomfort? Imagine earning a high six-figure income, yet feeling a constant suffocating pressure because every single dollar is already assigned to a lifestyle you cannot easily escape. You are trapped on a treadmill of your own design. This is the velvet trap of modern success, where high earners live paycheck to paycheck, masked by luxury car leases and sprawling mortgages. We are biologically wired to seek immediate rewards, a primal survival mechanism that turns highly toxic in an era of one-click consumption and endless credit availability. The modern financial ecosystem is purpose-built to exploit this exact vulnerability, extracting your wealth before it even has a chance to grow. Breaking this destructive cycle requires mastering the psychology of extreme delayed gratification. This is not about mere penny pinching, clipping coupons, or living a life of miserable deprivation. It is a profound, empowering psychological framework where individuals consciously choose ultimate, long-term freedom over the fleeting, hollow high of immediate consumption. By redefining what a true reward actually is, ambitious professionals transform their income from a superficial tool for status signaling into an unstoppable engine for absolute autonomy. They stop buying things to impress people they do not even like and start buying back their own future time. To truly understand this structural shift in thinking, we must look to behavioral economics, which is the study of how psychological, cognitive, and emotional factors affect the economic decisions of individuals and institutions. As demonstrated by the pioneering work of psychologists like Daniel Kahneman, human beings suffer deeply from temporal discounting. This means we inherently value a dollar in our hands today far more than $2 promised to us a decade from now. Overcoming this deeply ingrained cognitive bias is the defining, non-negotiable hallmark of the stealth wealth builder. They know that relying on sheer willpower is a losing game because willpower depletes rapidly under stress and fatigue. Instead, they engineer their environments and ruthlessly automate their financial systems to make the disciplined choice the automatic, default choice. This automated, unyielding discipline directly combats the insidious threat of lifestyle creep. As a professional's income rises through promotions or business success, the natural gravitational pull of society dictates that expenses must rise in perfect tandem. Upgraded vehicles, larger primary residences, and extravagant luxury vacations quickly and quietly absorb the entire financial surplus. The frugal millionaire actively and aggressively rejects this societal premise. They maintain a remarkably static standard of living while their income scales exponentially, aggressively funneling the ever-widening gap between their earning and spending into high-yield, wealth-generating vehicles. That accumulated surplus capital must then be deployed with ruthless efficiency and strategic foresight. The foundational mathematical mechanism driving this growth is compound interest, defined as the interest on a loan or deposit calculated based on both the initial principal and the accumulated interest from previous periods. According to historical data from the S&P 500, money invested in broad market indices historically doubles every 7 to 10 years, depending on inflation and market conditions. The psychology of extreme delayed gratification allows an investor to leave that capital completely untouched. They endure terrifying market volatility without a hint of panic, simply so the mathematical phenomenon of compounding can do its heavy, transformative lifting over decades. Consider the trajectory of a disciplined entrepreneur who intentionally lives on a mere fraction of their business profits. By consistently and quietly routing excess cash flow into income-producing commercial real estate, they build an invisible, unassailable fortress of equity. While their industry peers loudly showcase visible, depreciating markers of wealth, this individual accumulates quiet, appreciating assets. The psychological payoff profoundly shifts from seeking public validation to enjoying the private, unshakable security of knowing their financial survival is entirely decoupled from their next paycheck or client contract. Protecting this growing financial fortress requires the strict implementation of diversification, the practice of spreading investments around so that exposure to any one type of asset is significantly limited. A landmark study published in the Journal of Finance highlights that holding concentrated, undiversified portfolios carries massive uncompensated risk that can wipe out years of disciplined saving. The astute wealth builder mitigates this catastrophic risk by acquiring a strategic mix of domestic and international equities, cash flowing real estate, and perhaps private business interests. If one specific sector experiences a severe macroeconomic downturn, the broader portfolio remains incredibly resilient, preventing the kind of emotional, panic driven liquidations that destroy generational wealth. This protective strategy leads directly to the precise, ongoing tuning of asset allocation, which is an investment strategy that aims to balance risk and reward by apportioning a portfolio's assets according to an individual's specific goals, risk tolerance, and investment horizon. A highly compensated professional in their 30s might heavily weight growth oriented equities, accepting much higher short term volatility in exchange for maximum long term capital expansion. The immense psychological stamina developed through years of delayed gratification makes stomaching those wild, terrifying market swings entirely manageable. They view volatility not as a risk, but as the toll paid for outsized historical returns. Yet the path to absolute financial independence is rarely a smooth, linear journey. Severe economic recessions inevitably arrive, brutally testing the resolve of even the most stoic, experienced investors. When brokerage accounts bleed red, asset values plummet, and media narratives scream of impending financial doom, the biological instinct to abandon the strategy is completely overwhelming. The velvet trap of immediate relief tempts the terrified investor to sell everything at the absolute bottom, simply to stop the excruciating psychological pain of watching their net worth evaporate on a screen. The echoes of those early struggles to save and invest still shape their decisions in these dark moments. Those who have truly mastered extreme delayed gratification view market crashes not as apocalyptic catastrophes, but as rare, generational buying opportunities. They have already trained their minds to completely ignore the panicked herd and focus strictly on the distant 10-year horizon. Their substantial cash reserves, fiercely protected from frivolous lifestyle spending over the years, are now deployed aggressively to acquire high-quality assets at massive, irrational discounts. Over multiple decades, this relentless, unwavering application of financial discipline creates a massive, self-sustaining economic ecosystem. Passive income streams eventually grow large enough to entirely replace active wage-based labor. Dividends from global equities and consistent rental income from real estate flow smoothly into the portfolio, regardless of whether the individual chooses to work, travel, or rest. The initial painful sacrifice of skipping luxury upgrades transforms beautifully into the ultimate untouchable luxury, total uncompromising ownership of one's own time. This is the true, lived definition of stealth wealth. It is the unassuming millionaire next door who drives a reliable 10-year-old sedan but possesses the liquid capital to buy the entire dealership in cash if they desired. Their immense wealth is not worn on their wrist or parked in their driveway. It is buried deep in heavily fortified brokerage accounts and unencumbered property deeds. They have successfully and permanently decoupled their human ego from their financial expenditure, finding vastly deeper satisfaction in their financial invulnerability than in any fleeting societal applause. The profound impact of this specific mindset extends far beyond a single mortal lifetime. True generational wealth is rarely built by accident. It is carefully architected through intentional, multi-decade strategies and ironclad legal structures. Advanced legacy planning ensures that the capital accumulated through a lifetime of delayed gratification is legally protected from exorbitant taxation and structured to benefit future descendants. Irrevocable trusts, family limited partnerships, and charitable foundations become the robust vessels that carry this concentrated financial energy forward into the future. However, transferring vast sums of money without transferring the underlying psychological framework is a guaranteed recipe for disaster. Extensive financial research shows that a vast majority of inherited wealth is completely squandered by the second or third generation. The true, lasting legacy of the frugal millionaire is not just the raw capital itself, but the careful transmission of the financial discipline that originally created it. Heirs must be explicitly taught the immense value of the delayed reward, ensuring they become responsible stewards of the family wealth rather than its rapid consumers. Reaching this elite level of financial mastery demands a brutal, unflinching audit of your current financial behaviors and psychological triggers. Every single dollar spent today on a depreciating asset is a seed eaten rather than planted in the fertile soil of your future. You must constantly ask yourself if the temporary chemical dopamine hit of a new purchase is truly worth sacrificing a tangible piece of your future autonomy. The critical transition from a lifelong consumer to a sovereign owner requires tearing down the deeply ingrained societal habits of instant gratification. You must start by tracking every single outflow with forensic precision and aggressively redirecting surplus capital toward asset acquisition. Automate your investments completely, so the crucial decision to save is executed mechanically before the money ever reaches your checking account. Study the historical resilience of the global markets and deeply internalize the mathematical certainty of compounding over long, uninterrupted timelines. Your financial architecture must be built to withstand both economic shocks and your own moments of emotional weakness. Building massive, generational wealth is ultimately an inside job. It is a quiet, daily psychological war against your own primal impulses and the relentless, sophisticated marketing machinery of modern society. By deeply embracing extreme delayed gratification, you are not depriving yourself of joy or living a lesser life. You are relentlessly prioritizing your future self, intelligently trading the fragile illusion of wealth today for the undeniable, permanent reality of absolute financial freedom tomorrow.